Thank you, everybody, for joining my meeting today. I'm going to talk about a very popular subject called Be a Teacher of Your Heart. I've talked about this last week in my Chinese meeting, and a member has requested me to translate it in English. So I thought, while I was trying to translate it, and then I thought, maybe I'll just do this today, have an English meeting, so everybody will share. If they don't understand Cantonese, so they will share, they will know more in this meeting. So let me start. Be a teacher of your heart. The heart is the most important thing in our life. It is constantly controlling our emotions. There are many descriptions of the heart, such as happy heart, worried, impatient, greedy, compassionate, sad, upset, angry, frustrated, guilty, etc., etc. Because it controls so many emotions, if we cannot control our heart, then there will be no happiness for us all. You can be happy at one time, and then the next minute you will be angry or worried. And when things don't go well, then you get worried. So it's very important that we can control our heart. President Ikeda emphasized that if one wants to be successful in human revolution, one cannot be manipulated by one's own wavering weakness. The key lies in the way of life of always being a teacher of your heart. The heart is the most important thing. The world of the heart can be infinitely expanded and deep. The heart, sometimes like flying freely in a clear sky, can emerge a life of great joy. It is also like the brilliant sun that shines on all things and can tolerate people in distress with kindness. Sometimes, like a lion, it roars righteously to repel evil. The heart, like a kaleidoscope. I was trying to learn the pronunciation on internet, but now I think I can do it. Kaleidoscope is ever-changing and full of drama. The most incredible thing is that mind over heart can bring forth Buddhahood. Even those who are deeply confused and tormented can still emerge on the stage of their own hearts, their Buddhahood, that is integrated with the universe. Such a dramatic change in the heart is the most incredible and unthinkable. Buddhism finds that the heart of all people has the potential for great transformation and supreme dignity. Therefore, Nichiren Daishonin explained, as long as all living beings chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, which is the title of the Lotus Sutra, and thoroughly polish their minds, no matter how confused an ordinary person is, can reveal the life of a Buddha. No matter how filthy or dirty the land is, it can become a Buddha land, a pure land. The Lotus Sutra refers to the innate, wonderful principles of all living things, which is the name of the original truth in all life. Therefore, as long as we chant the title of the Lotus Sutra of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, we can turn the confused mind of ignorance of ordinary people, like a dark mirror, into a shining bright mirror and emerge Buddhahood. That is to say, through chanting, one can emerge the Buddhahood in one's own life and open up the infinite potential in one's own heart. The Lotus Sutra is the law of one's own mind. Everyone can achieve a fundamental change in life by accumulating instant changes in one's own mind through chanting, and then achieve a lifelong change, that is, to become a Buddha in one's lifetime. The dynamics of change in all fields come from the Lotus Sutra. Although it is one's own heart, if one obeys the weak heart of ordinary people, their potential will shrink and evil thoughts will rise in the heart. Let me give you an example. I think I've talked about this in our Chinese meeting. There are 2 members in Hong Kong whose husbands are very, very sick. The first member, I met her when I was in Hong Kong several months ago in March. And when she came to this meeting, she was all distressed, all crying and no faith. So after I talked to her, she picked up her faith and she started to think differently, encouraging her husband to get well, chanting and chanting. So she was not controlled by her heart, which was sad. Instead, she has a lot of courage. But of course, there were ups and downs also, and during that time, she was a bit afraid, but then I told her not to worry. If you have strong faith, you change your thinking, you change your mind, everything will become good. And her husband is recovering. Her husband, I think, was unconscious. I forgot what happened, but he was unconscious and lying there, and anyway. But he's getting better and better now. Now, there is another member whose husband has got a tumor in the brain, and she was very upset and cried and so forth. When I talked to her, then she felt better and she started to pick up faith. But then it didn't go very well. The husband cannot have a surgery because of the size and the position of the tumor. So he needs chemo. So after the first chemo, he was doing very well. But then with the second chemo, because I think he was a bit, they cannot find the vein. I think because he was so worried and angry. So I think because he's so worried, then his blood vessels will shrink. And the doctors could not find the blood vessel to be able to inject the medicine. But later on, we chanted and he had the second one. But then, only a couple of days ago, she said to me again that I think after the third chemo, the husband's body has become very weak, and the doctor said that the husband is unable to get further treatment and would send him to a rehabilitation center or hospital. So, which means that the doctor said there is no hope. And she cried and cried and cried again. So I said, don't trust the doctors. The doctors only go by the books. There is infinite potential in everybody's life. You just have to trust this and chant and chant and chant to bring forth your husband's life force. Now, I don't know whether she is getting better. I don't know. But this is the difference between the first member who was able to master her heart and the second one who is unable to do so. So she is distressed. Her husband's situation is not getting better. So it all comes with whether you can overcome the fear in your heart and have trust. Okay, let me go on. The Lotus Sutra is a law. I have distracted myself. Okay. Since the heart of all living beings is the key to becoming a Buddha in one's lifetime, one must overcome the weakness of the heart that is born with it. This is also the purpose of faith. Again, I'm referring to the second member who cannot overcome the fear in her heart and is in distress, and the husband's situation is not getting better. Ordinary people's hearts fluctuate all the time, and we must never take this wavering heart as a guideline. It is Nichiren Daishonin who emphasized this. You must always be the teacher of the heart. He has quoted this scripture of Master of Mind many times as a guideline for his disciples. In other words, the mind teacher is not only the compass of life, but also the guiding light of confidence. We must not take the weak hearts of ordinary people as a teacher, but we must have a teacher who can guide our own heart. Okay, let me continue. Let me share with you an experience I have also talked about before. Long time ago, my sister came back to Hong Kong from Canada, so I invited her to join me in my interior design business. But we didn't seem to get along. Of course, I was rough, I was short-tempered, so we didn't get along very well. So we had a lot of conflicts. So one day, we were going to have lunch together, and I think we are going to call the quits. And then in the morning, as I was driving, I was thinking, what am I going to say to her? That we should quit. But then as I was thinking, my Buddhist teaching came back to my mind. Of course, my heart was angry. But the Buddhist teaching, the teacher took over. And I was able to think, okay, I'm not happy with her. Well, she's not happy neither. Being I won't say the boss, being the superior, the senior person in the company, if she is not happy, I'm at fault. I cannot encourage her and make her happy. So I was at fault. So when I first saw her, I sat down and immediately I said, dear sister, I would like to apologize because I made you unhappy. It's my fault. I should do better. As soon as I was able to master my heart, the whole situation changes. And since then, my sister helped me so much in running the company. This teacher is the mystic law and Buddha's teachings. Based on the law he has realized, Shakyamuni vowed to take the law as his teacher, and he's proud to carry out this vow throughout his life. This is also the life principle of depending on the law, as emphasized in the last words left by Shakyamuni to his disciples. The law means the mystic law, the law of life and the law of the universe. Regard the heart as the teacher means that we are regarding oneself as the center. We put ourselves in the center of everything. This kind of person will eventually be fooled by the wavering mind, thinking only about himself, either becoming selfish or falling into the gravity of ignorance. Because he or she is so proud of herself, thinking of herself, they do not have an open heart to embrace other people's teaching or opinion. On the contrary, be always the teacher of the heart means taking the mystic law as the center. Also, teaching people to believe that they possess the infinite and broad mind potential is an indispensable existence for us to achieve Buddhahood in one's lifetime. That is Kosen Rufu. Mr. Ikeda said, whenever my heart is ups and downs, I can be aware of my blind spots and problems. Whenever I feel that my heart is not peaceful, it is an opportunity for me to look inward. I don't worry at all along the way. Because I'm willing to change, my inner wisdom will guide me how to reflect, how to love and be loved. I feel empowered and courageous. I will never be lost, never alone, because love and light have always guided me on the right path. Well, let me share with you also my recent experience. Something happened to me, nothing disastrous, but I was very puzzled and didn't know what to do. My heart was ups and downs because I've never faced such situation before, so I don't even know how to control my heart. Okay, so I chanted to the Gohonsen. I said, am I doing the right thing? What is it? What is it all about? I don't know enough about the situation. What should I do? And then, interesting enough, 2 days ago, a new good friend of mine called me up. She is such a trusted person. I started to tell her about what I was facing. And interesting enough, she had the same experience before. And she was able to put in all the information that I needed, and I was relieved. Now I can master over my heart and not be bothered, not be puzzled. I'm free. Okay, let me go on. The more deeply I feel myself, the more I feel the hearts of others. The more I open myself, the more I can help others open. I see that enemies are actually the expression of compassion. They are sacrificing, playing this unwelcome role to accomplish my homework in life. In all my relationships, I maintain good interactions. I learn love from everyone. I value everyone's presence. I treat everything and everyone with a compassionate and friendly heart. Those who move forward based on chanting will not end up dead. You must pray to the Gohonsen seriously and pray powerfully, like making fire from wet wood and water from dry soil. If you encounter obstacles, use the topic of the lion's roar to show the heart of the Lion King and emerge the wisdom of replacing wisdom with faith. So let us move towards the great Shakabuku movement. In order to gain victory, start with a powerful prayer. Persevering, strong, and patient. Praying thoroughly. Praying to the end. Deeply engrave this winning formula in your mind. Faith is a spiritual struggle. Struggle against disbelief. That is an indecisive heart. Well, when we say disbelief, the most disastrous thing is that we do not believe we are Buddhas. We do not believe that we have the great potential. We do not believe that we have Buddhahood. That is disastrous. People who think, I don't deserve happiness. There are people who say, yeah, I don't deserve this. Now, these people will accomplish nothing. Confidence is to break this kind of inner confusion and struggle so that we can emerge the magic method in life, that is the mystic law and power, and establish absolute happiness. Let me share with you the experience of a Taiwanese member who gained happiness because she was able to become a teacher of her heart. So let me start. Since I was a child, my stepfather led our family into faith, but I didn't understand the meaning of faith, so I didn't take part. Since I was a child, my stepfather led our family into faith, but I didn't understand the meaning of faith, so I did not take part in soccer activities. Until December 2006, a sudden car accident made me willing to learn about the mystic law. In that car accident, my second brother suffered a serious brain surgery. After 3 days at intensive care, the doctor pronounced him in a vegetative state. The whole family suddenly fell into gloom and despair. At this time, my father told us that there is hope, only if we chant earnestly. The next day, the attending doctor told the intern doctor in front of us. He said, there is no need to continue treatment. Continual treatment is unnecessary. The treatment for the brother. The doctor said it's a waste of medical resources. But my father told us to arouse a strong faith and determination and chant for my second brother because he has a mission and must not die. After that, in addition to our family, for a whole month, more than 30 SGI members came to our house every day to chant for my brother. I was moved. I never thought that someone would be so willing to give selflessly for someone whom they don't know at all. And I feel so warm towards SGI. With the determination to win, our family chanted seriously every day and took turns visiting our second brother in the hospital. The head nurse told me privately that in the past 20 years of her work, almost no one woke up from the situation like my second brother, and told us not to expect too much. After listening to it, I burst into tears and was very scared. Every time I went to see my brother, I kept chanting and calling his name. We did not give up and continued to chant with the belief in the Gohonsen and the belief that my brother would become a talented person in Kosen Rufu. Just as the Gosho says, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is like a lion's roar. Any disease could not be an obstacle. 7 months after the accident, my second brother finally woke up. He was unconscious for 7 months, and we won. The doctor who said it was a waste of medical resources changed his words and said, There seems to be infinite possibilities with my second brother. Later, the doctor also started to chant. Although my second brother had been lying in the hospital bed for 7 months, his body did not shrink and deteriorate, and his intelligence returned to normal. Now he can push a wheelchair, stand up, and even walk a few steps by himself. In the past, he was the only one in the family who did not chant. But now, not only does he chant, he even encouraged other patients in the nursing center to chant together. After experiencing the incredible experience of my second brother, I'm willing to further understand the mystic law and participate in soccer activities. This is the origin of my confidence. In 2007, I went to study for a master's degree. Because my family's finances were not ideal, I started working part-time in college. I worked until 12 o'clock in the evening almost every day, and I was very tired after attending classes during the day. For living expenses, I worked 3 jobs, working as a teaching assistant, organizing books in the library, and serving as the accompaniment of Chinese music at the farewell ceremony in the funeral home. In addition, because I was not an undergraduate, I had to take many more courses than my classmates, and my grade was so poor. So I was often scolded by the teacher, and I couldn't understand a single word of the English literature I read in the master's class. But with the desire to repay soccer and study hard, I continued. In order to take care of my studies, work and money-making activities, I used to finish 2 days' work in 1 day. I stayed up late to study almost 2 to 3 days a week. With the Gohonsen, how can we lose? If you don't understand, after reading it once, she was talking about herself, then read it 2 or 3 times until you understand. With hard work and perseverance, I obtained a master's degree with a high score of 93. In 2009, my thesis passed the 2-stage review and was included in the top journal of TSSCI. I don't know what it is, okay? Domestic Asset Management in 2010. I participated in the international seminar competition. I stood out from more than 200 papers from prestigious universities and won the first prize. Later, the supervisor used my thesis as his representative work for promotion, and I could really say loudly, I have won. After graduation, I worked as a research assistant at National Cheng Chi University. In 2010, I started to work in the industry, doing market trend analysis for the company. In 2011, I was affirmed by expressing my enthusiasm for marketing in the road marketing department. I expressed my interest to the vice president. At the beginning, the department head often rejected the network activities I proposed, and he gave me a lot of little tasks, unimportant tasks, and I complained to the vice president that I was not serious. Although I felt wrong, Mr. Toder once taught us that we should become an indispensable person in the company. So I thought that even if I was doing small tasks, unimportant tasks, I had to do my best. Gradually, the supervisor saw that I never complained and handled things in an orderly manner. In 2012, he took the initiative to transfer me from planning to media procurement and took the time to guide me in the negotiation skills of procurement. The supervisor transformed into my Sultan Sanjin. In the past, this position required at least 3 years of experience. But because the supervisor was willing to guide me, I was able to take over this position within 1 year. I'm really lucky. At work, I can acquire the latest internet marketing and technology and be at the forefront of information, continuous learning and growth. At the end of August 2017, I decided to leave my job and accept the case on my own. Although I was worried about not having a stable income at first, I didn't expect my previous clients came back to me, and they also introduced me to their friends. And under the recommendation of my seniors, I also began to teach in a Catholic university in November. Now I've got so much work that I cannot finish, and my schedule was filled up and up to next year. In order to prepare to set up my own company, I began to encourage a working team, hoping to help more people through professionalism. In terms of relationship, after graduating from the master's program, I broke up with my boyfriend, who had been with me for 4 years, because he was unfaithful. I couldn't eat or sleep every day, and I lost 8 kilos in a week. It was like hell. In order to get rid of the pain, I started to read a lot of books published by Soccer Publishing. Among them, I really like a piece of guidance from Mr. Ikeda. Life is not waiting for the storm to go away, but learning how to dance with the storm. Like the gospel says, be a teacher of the heart and don't be dominated by your heart. When chanting, I told myself that I must not be dominated by a weak heart. At the same time, I participated in the talent unit of the women's department, and through sincere action for others, I studied and learned to borrow books and gradually understood the mistakes in my original view of feelings. I used to think that finding a partner with good conditions would bring me happiness. Well, this is common in all women or in all people, thinking that, if I find the wrong partner, I will be happy. But this is not the right thinking. Just as Mr. Ikeda said, true happiness does not depend on others. In 2013, I met a man, and then in 2014, we formally dated. After getting along, we found that we are quite compatible in many places. He took good care of me and my family, and the Go Hansen really arranged the most suitable partner for me. In March 2017, we got married, and we lived with our parents-in-law after marriage. We got along very well, and living with them to me was as happy as my own parental home. Since I became serious in 2007, all the good changes and experiences I have experienced are due to my belief in the teachings of the Daishonin and the correct values given by Soka Gakkai. Let me move forward in the face of difficulties, open up wisdom through chanting, and break the ignorance in my life. The participation in Soka activities allow me to face the trials of life, and I was able to stand up again after falling down. Like Mr. Ikeda's guidance, the real happiness in life lies in the transformation of one's own life. The confidence of these 10 years has given me a new look in my life. I realize that happiness does not exist elsewhere, but in my own self, in where I am. It is great to have confidence, and it's great to have Soka Gakkai. I'm determined with the idea of thoroughly bettering myself, challenge life's various missions, implement teaching, cultivate more outstanding successors, guide more people to have confidence, so that everyone can live a happy life. Now let me go on to share some very important messages and guidance from President Ikeda. He says, on the road of life, there are high mountains and low valleys. There are endless worries about illness and work, family and interpersonal entanglements, and uneasiness about the future. However, we must be sure that the distress we encounter now must have far-reaching significance. As long as you have a strong and confident thought, destiny can be transformed into mission. The power of the mystic law will definitely make life better. Well, as for myself, since the start of my taking faith, I had lots and lots of problems and obstacles. But because of my chanting, because of my practice, I was able to overcome every one of them and in a better position and become a happy person. The real Buddhist teaching is not to teach people when and where happiness will be obtained in the future. It is in your chest. And what triggers this power is faith. The so-called belief is infinite hope and vitality. With one thought, any link will be transformed into the highest treasure land. There will be setbacks in life, and there will be times when the mountains or rivers seem to be at the end of the road. Whether you can leap forward with indomitable and firm belief is the key to luck and misfortune. And this is the reason why Buddhism is needed. And this is also the principle of Ichinen Sensen. No matter where you are, whether you can discover the meaning of life, feel joy and fulfillment from it, all depends on your own thoughts and mentality. According to one's own mind, there will be happiness. In hell, if a person is pessimistic, dark clouds will immediately cover his heart. And the light of joy, happiness, and hope will all be obscured. Like the second member whose husband is very sick, this is what's happening to her. Dark clouds cover her heart, and she was so worried and so unhappy. Anyway, in life, there are joys and sorrows. When things go well, you will feel happy and full of energy. But when you encounter difficulties, you will easily become discouraged and give up. This is so common with a lot of members. However, when encountering difficulties, Don't forget that what you are upholding is the great law of the original cause. It is extremely important to get rid of cowardice and bravely challenge difficulties in the heart from now on. From the independent and active struggle, the power to break through the difficulty and the wisdom to solve the problem will surely emerge. President Ikeda once said, confidence includes 1. Responsibility, 2. Love, 3. Wisdom, 4. Good fortune, 5. Vitality, 6. The charm of the individual. We must act with the heart of this moment and faith to move forward with times. And this is the practice of Buddhism. Now I'm saying this to everybody because I'm sure everybody's got some unhappy events in the past. But what this paragraph is saying, whatever the past is the past. The problem lies in the present and the future. We should always think about how to advance and how to make progress, how to open the way of growth and development, change the bad habits of laziness, and vigorously innovate and start. So let us take part in learning activities and take part in all SGI activities, join meetings, participate in encouraging people, chanting meetings, anything that involves SGI activities and encouraging other people, please take part in it. With a new and forward mind every day, actively encourage our friends and bring happiness and victory to ourselves and our friends.